Hi everyone, my name is Meads. Welcome to my channel, and this is going to be kind of like a let's build a resin kit. I've built resin kits before, and some of you are probably wondering, what does it take to build one? Is it hard? Well, to tell you the truth, building resin kits is actually quite easy. As long as you're already proficient in painting, and even so, I mean, painting is well, you gotta have to build up your technique, but it's easy, trust me. But it does take a little bit of more effort than your usual mold kit. Right here is your usual layout. I got my kits from E2046. It's a great site to grab resins. But the thing with resin kits is you cannot get it right away. You kind of have to wait like several months. And that's where pre-order comes in. So gotta have to pre-order things, then you're gonna get it eventually. So it takes a while, and actually resin kits are great for in between projects, or especially if you really want to get something. Also, one more thing, this is in particularly the super deform, pretty much Optimus Prime or Convoy, and this is pretty cool. When I first saw this, I went ahead and pre-ordered it right away. If you're wondering why I have tape here, I usually use the hobby knife and cut towards my thumb. I cut myself a lot of times before, so I usually put a masking tape just to protect myself. So yeah, I'm gonna be building this guy. Hopefully I get the somewhat similar colors to that. I do have blue. Well, I think I have red. It's not gonna be as glossy as this one, as you can see. I'm gonna be hand painting this, but for the most part, it should work out. So they give you a photo of what it'll look like, or just give you a bit of a color reference. And you're gonna have this. It's pretty good the way they lay it out. So you have a lot of pieces. Another heads up: when you're buying resin, you might wanna check out if there's any kind of ball joint, because some resin have ball joints already. This one, I don't know. It might have. So sometimes when you look at the website, you can just sometimes they give you like a layout of what the parts are. You're gonna check if they have ball joints. If not, you have to buy that beforehand or along with this. And you can always get that on Miami, HLJ, or Hobby Search. That's where I usually get my ball joints. Otherwise, it's gonna be hard, or you can always pin them. And I will get to pinning later on. Pretty much pinning is just putting a metal rod. Well, for me, I like to use paper clip. Alright, so I'm just gonna grab a section of them. And these are pretty good quality. There's a little bit of, it's usually a little bit of warping and extra stuff. But this one's fairly good, in my opinion. There's a little bit of bubbles, but we can live with that. So first thing I normally do is remove these nubs. They're kind of like imperfection, and I just use a hobby knife. And this is not the proper way of cutting things, because I'm cutting towards my thumb, but it gives me a little bit of precision, and I'm used to it. So don't try this at home unless you know what you're doing, or you're already familiar with using a hobby knife. So what I'm doing right now is slowly pretty much chiseling it away. I mean, you can always sand it, but sanding takes a while. And there's still some stuff there, but yeah, I mean, I could always clean that up later. So I'm just kind of like scraping the nub little by little till it's gone. Then of course I'm gonna sand this also, and I just put this in my parts bin. Things I've already removed. Actually, this is the head, pretty cool looking. Then you have a torso here, which I think combines and separates. This does transform to his truck mode, which is pretty cool. It's a transforming resin kit. Okay, another demonstration. You got this nasty little nub there. And you typically just grab your flat edge or any kind of cutter, and you kind of chip it off, like just again, just be careful. You don't want to cut off right on the edge, because you might stress up the resin and actually gouge it. So that's something you don't want to do. So you just slowly nibble away till you get as close as possible. And once you're close, again, you're gonna use your hobby knife, and again, we're gonna go to that process of just scraping it off. And this will take a while, but you know, eventually you get the hang of it, and it's really a worthwhile project. Maybe a little bit more chipping off. And also make sure that you're chipping off a nub. You're not chipping off, what do you call this? A joint. Because let's see here. That's not the right one. Like here. This might look like a nub, but it's actually a connector point. As well as this one right here. That's a joint. You don't cut that off. So be careful. Usually the excess parts are kind of like, it's a weird looking. Actually, here's another one here. And the dogs are barking. Anyways, so right here, that's the thing that sticks out. So that's that thing you can remove. But otherwise, again, be careful. You don't want to cut off a peg. It's gonna be hard, especially since this is resin. I mean, I don't know if you can even super glue resins together. Sometimes it's kind of hard. But yeah, also you notice that there's kind of like bubbles in there, which is because of this guy right here. I'm gonna work on it later on, because I have to pretty much do some sort of fitting. Pretty much fitting is you're putting all together first before you paint them. Make sure you align everything, and if you have to add metal rods or joints, that's the time you do it before you start painting. Well, I mean, for me, that's how I do it. Alright, so that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this and move on to the next part. Alright, I also want to point out that not all resin kits are postable. Some of them are fixed. So you gotta have to make sure that if you want something postable, that they are. And you know, you just have to look around the photos. If they show a photo of him doing a certain pose, or you think it looks like he can move the arms, then that's a postable one. Otherwise, they're kind of like statues. And I did point out that the nubs, I mean, you probably wondering why they have nubs. Why not just mold the way it is? Like most are pretty much like the runners. You need the nubs for the resin to flow in and to fill that mold. You gotta have them, and it's really hard if you don't have it, or if you make it too small. It's kind of hard to have the resin to flow inside the mold. You know, again, cut as close as possible, but not all the way. Well, maybe I can get as close as possible, but the first one, don't go too close. And some of you are probably also gonna wonder, you know, what's the consistency of this? I mean, it's light. Well, some of them are light, but some of them are, you know, heavy. Like this guy. This is actually quite heavy. Probably 5 times as heavy as this thing right here, because this is solid and this is somewhat hollow. Consistency. It's really hard. You know, it feels kind of like plastic, but I mean, it's kind of brittle in some sense, but not quite. I don't know how to say. It's kind of like soft plastic, but it just have a distinct feel to it. That you know, once you feel it, okay, I know it's resin. It's kind of a little bit powdery, but you know, it's solid. And you know, the way I'm cutting it, I mean, you can chip off the resin, and it's kind of like plastic. But it is a lot smoother. There we go. And it does say Tommy in there. Alright, that's that. And I guess moving on to the next segment. Alright, so this is quite a mess. But there is a rare occurrence that you're going to have resin kits on a runner. Yep. So it's the same thing, you know, you just cut them from the runner. Same deal. Alright, so this is the part where I add putty. I'm using Mr. Putty right here. I think this is white or maybe cream. And one of the tires has a big hole in there, so it's, I guess, some sort of flat tire. And I'm just gonna grab a little bit. Maybe putting a little bit of excessive, or actually the best way is get a toothpick and just grab a little bit. Kind of messy, and fill the gap. Oh, there we go. It's off the camera. Great. So just cover it up. It's okay if you have a lot of excess. You can always clean it out afterwards. And I think there's some here also. Oh, over there on the top where the peg hole is. So again, I'm just gonna grab a little bit of putty and fill the gap and let it dry. Yep, very simple. Come on. Sit, Luna, sit, sit down, sit. Come on, I train you to sit down. Come on, sit down. Come on. I'm gonna scratch your butt. Alright, so what you do next is pretty much we're gonna remove the mold release solvent. And wait, what? What do you want? You want your ball? You want your ball? Go! Okay. There we go. Anyways, back to this one. So I just use pretty much lukewarm water and some kind of a just your dishwashing soap. This actually, I let it stand for the whole day. Well, I put it on this morning, and I'm about to pretty much rinse it out. Yep. So after I'm done rinsing it, it's pretty much just have to dry it out. And also, I kind of noticed I still have to put a lot more putty. Even though I already put putty beforehand, I can still add putty. That's totally fine. But you want to do that before you start sanding, because once you start sanding, that's pretty much the last part before you wash it again. Then you start painting. But every time you rinse it out, you always want to dry it. So always paper towel, dab it, or kind of just leave it in spread out. Then maybe you can leave it next to something warm. Maybe your heater or something. Just let it dry, but do not cook it. Don't microwave it or anything. No, just let it, air dry. Maybe that's probably the best way to. And again, when you're working resin, take your time. Yeah, there's plenty of time. Don't rush it. Alright, so moving on to the next one. Alright, next part is adding polycaps. So I actually kind of started on it over here. Let's see. So this kit does need some polycaps. It's not provided, so I have to scrounge around on my extra bin parts, and luckily I have several polycaps. So for the neck, I did have to trim this around. So that's another thing that you have to do sometimes. Just put your hobby knife and scrape it around. Just do it slightly. It's always to cut less than cut a lot more, and then you cannot go back. Alright, so that works over there, and that really works out pretty good. Now I also have this. You do have to create that joint, which is pretty cool. Yep. And actually there's another part right here, which I don't want to remove it. But there is another part. Actually, that's kind of odd. It's kind of stuck. There we go. Actually add a little bit of masking tape to tighten it up. But the problem with that one, it doesn't really stick well. It's a short peg. So what I did is, over here, it's the same one, but this one is actually a magnet there. And actually I need to fix that. Actually popped up, but I'm thinking it's maybe adding a magnet here or over there, and so I can fuse it and it will stay until I have to remove it. Same problem with this one over here. I mean, it holds, but this is too loose. So again, adding magnets helps a lot. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use my 3mm drill. I do have a 1.5 to 3mm diameter magnets over here. They're really small, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna drill a hole here and here, and I think that should be enough. Actually, both sides, here and here. Yep. And I'll continue the video after that. Alright, so before you add the magnets, you want to make sure the other side is the right orientation. So if that's the case, I will pull this out and I will put it here. And just press it in. There we go. Sometimes if the hole is too big, you can always add a super glue. This one, take this out. Although I kind of find that this side right here is not the right side, but oh well. There we go. And let's see if it works out. Yep, it does. So it holds it in place, which is what I wanted in the first place. Alright, so here what I have so far, and you know, there's a lot of adding magnets. Actually, I need to make another magnet purchase. Again, if you're buying magnets, buy in bulk. At least 100. You probably need more, especially if you're working on several resin kits or even your roller gunpla. Like here, see, I already added several magnets. I'm adding those because, well, we need transforms to a truck. You're gonna do a lot of part swapping, and there are points there that could work, but it's not secure since it's resin. It doesn't have that rubber that expand. Yep. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to transform this while it's still unpainted. So first off, we're gonna remove the hands. I'm gonna remove this for the time being so I don't break them. This will get super glued eventually, but it'll be easier if they're not connected yet. So let's see. We're gonna remove pretty much the legs. Yeah, it's kind of sucks that it doesn't have a transformation where you keep everything. Oh well. So yeah, why don't we start with the back? So we're gonna remove this one. I think take out this part right here. Actually, no, you don't need this poly cap. Again, I put masking tape around it to give it a little bit of grip. I will actually fix on that. It's kind of a little bit too much. You're gonna separate this part right here and this part right here. And I don't think you need those for now. Same thing here. Remove the joint. Oh, I broke the joint. I probably just need to super glue that later on. It's not. There we go. Let's see. Remove this too. Remove that. Remove this part right here. Now, there is a connection part right there, as you can see, and I use magnets because it's not secure if it's not. Put this back. Then you're gonna have this extra piece which connects them together, and you can be adding this back here. There we go. So again, it's really helpful if you have the magnets. It just snaps in place, and I kind of did that with my other resin kit, like the Super Deformed Gurren Lagann. It helps a lot. Next, start here. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to remove the head, but the good thing is you just remove the whole half of the torso. And take this out. We actually need this. And the magnets really help a lot connecting that joint there. Alright. So for this part, this also removes. You're going to remove the front skirt. And actually, you're going to twist this around. And that's going to be your new bumper. Let's see. You're going to have 2 extra pieces, which kind of goes over the ball joint. And this one too. So again, it's best to actually check it out, because I didn't know about. I thought the transformation will be a lot, simpler. I mean, I don't have to do part swapping. Apparently not. There's a lot of part swapping involved. So I actually had, certain things super glued. Good thing I can, I was able to remove it. Yeah, so try all the configuration first. Make sure they are what it's supposed to before you actually start super gluing stuff, because you may regret it. Alright, so the shoulder, I made the magnets again there and hooks in place. Where's the other one? Right here. There we go. And this one too. Alright, and let's just add this back. As you can see, the truck mode is actually smaller, which kind of makes sense. The vehicle mode is usually smaller than the robot mode. Alright. I don't have the trailer yet. I'm probably gonna work on that later on, but I have to fold it up and make something out of that. But there we go. That looks pretty cool. I don't know if you can maybe do like a little bit of him driving or some sort. But yeah, this is actually a pretty cool kit. And I'm gonna go ahead and paint this up for the Gundam Eclipse Super Deformed build off or group build. And yeah, then I'll just continue the video till then.